Hey everybody, welcome to the District 14 Hare Scrambles Round 10, Polka Dots, Midland, Michigan. This was a nice track. They did a good job grooming it. They were watering it during the race. Everything was in pretty good shape. I had a rough start and a rough race. I think I sat here for about 12 seconds after everybody else was gone, except Mark Harmon, who you can't see, but he's behind me. He was doing the same thing. Hopefully I got that figured out since this race. But yeah, I decided to take my kids to the fair the night before this race, and went on a whole bunch of those rides where you can spin them yourself, like the teacups at Disney World, and my whole body was sore and stiff, and I wasn't really feeling this race when I got here. Made the best of it, but there was 26 guys in our class today, and there was 26 fast guys. Well, can't call myself a fast guy, but there were at least 15 fast guys in our class today, and I struggled the whole day just to keep up, and had a really rough time trying to make any ground on anyone. I ended up finishing, I believe it was 21st out of 26, and shockingly, typically, you can count on about 3 or 4 guys DNFing, and yeah, we only had one guy out of 26 that didn't finish, and it was not Jimmy Carroll. Jimmy, 420K right there. Congratulations on your first complete race, and he beat me. Right here, I'm short, nowhere to put my foot, fell over. But yeah, again, Jimmy, congratulations. You beat me. Good job. Pretty happy for you. Not really sure what was going on here. We got backed up coming into these woods here, and then it was like everybody just put it in slow motion, and I was feeling an awful lot like Michael and Peter Pan. I'm just following the leader. I don't know. And watching this video right now, it just makes me mad looking at it. It was like there were so many places where I could have gone around everybody, and I chose not to. I know that, in the riders' meeting they told us, stay on the track, don't leave the posted trail, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I could have left the trail by about 10 feet and gone around a whole mess of people. But for whatever reason, my mind was not there, and I followed these guys for way too long until right about here, the super seniors start flying past us, and then I started feeling some sense of urgency, like, okay, we need to get this moving. Now there's Mark. He got his bike fired eventually. I talked to him after the race. He actually had his gas turned off. So that's unfortunate for him, but I'm not sure where he ended up finishing, but I think he ended up somewhere around mid-pack anyway. So not too bad. So after Mark got around me, then I was like, okay, we gotta go. I started following Mark through the shortcuts and stuff, getting around all these slow guys, and we picked up the pace a little bit. Still wasn't really 100% there at this race. Something didn't feel right. I'm sure it had something to do with the fair, but I think mentally I just wasn't 100% there either. I struggled a lot, but it was a great track, and I'll be looking forward to it next year. Hopefully they'll change a few things about the track, but there goes Ken Reichenbach. He got past me. I'm I'm going to try and stay with him as long as I can. I know it's going to be short-lived because Ken is a much faster rider than I am, but we'll give it a shot. So yeah, they don't have a ton of property here to work with, so you know, they had us riding in the wastelands, and I was not a big fan of that. I did finally buy out right there. I hit a route trying to keep up with Ken, and now look, there's a mile-long train of guys coming through the woods. Luckily, Mark was just far enough back that I was able to slip back in. What I should have done is kept going in the direction I was going, because the whole rest of the race I just jumped that log and never thought twice about it. But as the lemmings do, I had to follow everyone else. But yeah, I did finally buy the Shinko 505 Cheater hybrid tire, and it wasn't on here for this race, but I've got it on there now, and we just went and played at the Sandbox motocross track over the weekend, and I gotta say, I don't have any time with it in the roots and ruts and stuff, but if you've ridden at the Sandbox motocross track, you know, that sand is awfully deep, and that tire pulled me through it pretty good. I was pretty happy with the way it performed, so I'm looking forward to this next race at Evergreen Creek, and we'll see how it goes. I could have used that tire on this race. I regret not buying it just a week earlier, because that's where I struggled a lot on this race. I felt the whole race like I couldn't put the power down the way that I wanted to, because I was being very throttle shy, because I kept sliding out, going into the trees, and so you'll see there's several spots here where I struggle a lot with traction, and that really shook my confidence. You know, I was trying the whole time to tell myself, oh, you can keep going, keep pushing harder, you can go faster, and every time I would start to go faster, something would happen, and you know, it just told me, okay, where you are physically and mentally today, you need to just back it down and try and stay safe. I'm not really sure how well that worked for me, because I had a couple hard crashes, but I walked away, so that's all that matters. I loved this motocross track. It was really fun. Like I said, we went to Sandbox motocross track over this last weekend, over Labor Day, and I got a lot more experience hitting jumps, trying to keep speed through corners and stuff, and I really wish that I had that time on that track before this, because I feel like I would have been a lot better, and not maybe as nervous to hit some of these bigger jumps. I'm sure that we've got Portland coming up for the last race of the season, which that has really big jumps in it. I'm not sure that I'll be hitting those really big jumps, full bore, but it'll at least make me a lot more comfortable to where I'm not grabbing rear brake on the face of the jump. Yeah, just keeping my momentum up and being confident in myself that I can land it. This little step up here, I almost got that, and that was the hardest that I would hit that jump the whole day. Every other lap I kind of laid up on it, and I never had the confidence to really hit that jump. A lot of these doubles on this track were pretty forgiving. If I had just had a little bit more confidence and gone for it, I'd have cleared them no problem, but I could not get myself to that state in my head where I was like, okay, yeah, give it gas. Now this first half lap, they routed us around the scoring tent, and right before the meeting started, I was standing next to the guys, and they said they were going to count that first half lap as the first lap. And so I thought that I got 5 laps because I was counting that first half lap as a lap. And the official scoring came out, and I did 4 laps. So I finally got my 4 in. So I was pretty excited about that. But, you know, in my mind, I was telling myself I got 5. And, yeah, I didn't. But it's okay. I did finally get my 4 laps in, and I was not finishing at 2 hours and 39 minutes or anything. I think it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes, so it was really close to the 2-hour window without being way over. So that was good. Now here's Jimmy right in front of me, and I'm just trying to keep pace with him. Anybody that knows Jimmy, he's kind of crazy. He'll just send it. And if you saw Pony Down 418, Jeff Carroll's video from the last Valley Trail Riders, there was a little snippet in there of Jimmy just throwing it into the crowd. There he goes down again. There was a professional photographer right there, and I was really hoping that he'd get some shots of us going over these jumps, and instead of getting shots of me going over jumps, he was snapping pictures of Jimmy laying on the ground. So, Jimmy, I hope you buy that video, or that picture, because there was no picture of me hitting the jump, because we're on the ground. I'm just playing. But, yeah, so, as you can see, I was trying a little bit harder to hit these jumps with some speed, but these jumps here are the ones that I thought I could hit a little bit harder, and first test over that one, it felt like I hit pretty hard, and I wasn't going that fast, so the whole rest of the day, again, I never tried to go for it, and seeing videos of some of the other guys, it looks like if I'd have just given it a little bit more gas, and even if I just skimmed the top of it, you know, it would have been a lot better than just rolling over. But you know, it is what it is. So I think I just got to get out of my own head and start letting it fly. So as you can see, you know, this isn't even the bad spot, and there's tree branches and roots and stuff everywhere. So, you know, it's kind of the story of this race. It was like the deadfall zone, or it's not ideal if you've got hard tires, which, you know, the beginning of this season I bought an intermediate Metzler tire, and I thought that'd be plenty soft enough for the riding that we do, but definitely not. So again, you know, through this whole section I was very, very timid, and yeah, I wish that I had been able to push it a little bit harder, but hopefully Evergreen Creek will be much better. Here we got a little pile up. Snake over these branches here. There's Brian right in front of me. McMillan on his Aprilia. Heard he got a new bike after this race. Yeah, we were out right there. I caught my rear brake with my toe, and it just sent me right over the handlebars. I got to do something about the adjustment on that, because even at Sandbox while we were playing over the weekend, I hit the toe on my rear brake, went straight over the handlebars, and that time it made the front end dig in, and the bike flipped right over on top of me. So I've got to do something to change that. It's no good. So right there to the right is the enduro track. This first lap they routed us around it, and I, you know, even though I was struggling a little bit in this race, I definitely knew that I wanted to at least try it. They said that, you know, you would lose a few seconds if you went around it with the bypass, and I wasn't sure how much time you would actually lose, so I knew that I had to at least try it. And I really don't think that the bypass made you lose too much time. If you were able to get through the enduro course fast, then I don't think that you would have, or I think you could gain some significant time. But for somebody like me, I might have gained 5 or 10 seconds if I got through it clean, but I don't think I would have been winning any races doing that. So, you know, it was one of those things. I had to try it to at least say that I did it and get it on camera. I did it once. You'll see it. Looking back at the line that I took, I wish I had done it just a little bit different. I think it would have been a lot cleaner and I wouldn't have had any problems. And then I probably would have done it again and again. But I didn't, and so first time through was also the last time through. So yeah, just cruising through the woods here, getting through all the ruts and the roots and sticks and logs and everything else. Right now I'm just kind of feeling like I'm on my own. No one really seems to be around. Still trying to push to try and catch up, but you know, it's a real struggle with yourself in your head when there's no one else around you and you're trying to catch up. You've got no way to gauge it. You don't know how hard you have to push. You don't know if you're catching anyone or if you're just continuing to lose time. So you just keep riding your race, I guess. And hopefully it'll catch up to somebody. So since this race, like I said, I put the Shinko 505 cheater hybrid on the back. I put a Shinko, I can't remember what it is, but it's a soft motocross front tire on, which if you guys are considering doing a Shinko tire, they definitely tend to run narrow. So the front of my bike calls for an 80 series tire. I went with a 90, which actually ends up being about perfect as far as width compared to the Metzler tire. The rear, I stuck with the stock. I think it was 110 rear, and I kind of feel like I should have gone up one size, because even the rear runs a little bit narrow, but it does seem to handle well, so I'm not going to complain too much there. I just ordered some of the Boysen Pro reeds. I believe that was my biggest problem with getting the bike to start this race. And if you can see, right now you can't, I put a digital temperature gauge right by my bar pad there, Trail Tech, and again, I thought I had it figured out. The bike was running like 260 degrees the last race, and I thought I had it figured out for this race, and again, this race as well. It was running like, I think it topped out at 254. So that's not a good way to run a two-stroke that's liquid cooled for sure. So I'm trying to work the bugs out of that, and I think that it's possible that the reed valves, they were stuck open, or not stuck open, but just kind of blown out a little bit. You can see some daylight through them. I tried flipping them over, and it starts first kick every time, but I'm still getting some reed flutter at higher RPMs. it's just it's not running quite right yet. So I bought the Poison the Carbon Pro reeds or whatever that are like a mix between the carbon fiber and fiberglass so that they last longer, whatever. Got those coming. I'm going from the 178 main jet down to 170. You know, every time I look into the engine, everything looks okay. It's got a ton of oil inside, and I think that even though I'm running 50 to 1, I think it's just getting way too much oil. It's just really, really fat right now, and I think that that's possibly why I'm overheating. At the beginning of the year, before I was able to figure this out, or before I really knew what I was doing, I was running more like 25 to 1, and I was having a lot of overheating issues then, and as I was leaning it out, things got much, much better. So I think this is all related to putting the FMF gnarly pipe, the head pipe on. It seemed to be pretty dialed in for the Pro Circuit pipe that I had before, and ever since I put this gnarly pipe on, it's been running hot. So I think it's just all carburation, and you know, possible parts just wearing out. You know, it's a 2001 YZ250, and with the exception of the stuff that I've done to it this year, I mean, the bike was 100% stock at the beginning of the year. Since then, I think just about everything's been replaced, but you know, it's part of racing, and when you're bringing an old bike out of the garage for the first time, basically in its life, you know, it's not great. So right there, you know, you can see that hard tire. I got stuck on that log, and I just couldn't get it to move at all. There's absolutely no traction. So yeah, it made this whole section just very, very difficult to ride fast through. So I had tried changing my coolant before this race, and I already ran the engine ice coolant that I had put in there just a few months ago, but that coolant was really dark, it stunk, so I thought for sure that it was just bad coolant. And you know, right before this race, I swapped it out with some fresh stuff, and it seemed like it was taking care of the problem. Evidently it did not. It still ran, you know, 10-20 degrees cooler than it did at Valley, but it was still running really, really hot. So, you know, I had a lot less stalling issues this race, but I still had it stall out a couple times on me, I think. So, yeah, it's just working the bugs out. I feel like there should be vultures just all through this whole section. I mean, this is definitely a wasteland if I've ever seen it. This is the one part of the track where, you know, maybe next year, if they have any other options, maybe do something different here, because you know, this was just kind of tedious. That you kind of felt like you were never getting anywhere. You're just riding, following the dark brown trail. And again, this was the spot that they were talking about when they said don't leave the trail. They weed whacked along the sides of it. If you go off the trail, you're going to crash. There's trees and stumps and blah 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 everywhere. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't a big fan of this whole section, but you know, it definitely added some length to the track, and it was definitely super rough. So gave your arms a good workout, that's for sure. The fast guys, I'm not real sure how they're flying through there at the clip they are, but you know, maybe with the right setup, it's a lot easier to control your bike through this stuff. This track did get pretty tight, but again, there, no traction again. Again though, this track never got so narrow that you were banging your bars on trees on both ends. I mean, I definitely made some contact with some trees, but never on both sides of the bars. That's where it kind of bugs me, is where you're trying to fish your handlebars through the trees. If you can keep them straight and just ride, you know, that's fine. Bump into them a little bit, no big deal. So here we are back out on the motocross track. We're getting close to finishing the official first lap, even though, you know, this is the part we've already ridden. So once we get done with this first official lap, we'll just kind of touch some highlights and show you some fun crashes. That guy was screaming up behind me, and he still came right in on top of my boot. His front tire touched my boot. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm as far to the outside as I can be. Maybe that's the line he wanted, but that's not my fault. It's his job to go around me. That jump right there was my nemesis. I hated that jump, and had I had a little bit better cornering ability or cornering technique, I could have had the speed to clear that and land it smooth, but I was not feeling comfortable in these corners on this track. And that's where, again, you know, if I had spent the time at Sandbox, you know, before this race, I would have been feeling a whole lot more confident about just laying it right over and going through that corner. But yeah, I think right up here, nope, another tree root. Right here, this guy coming up behind me doesn't give me any time to get over that hill and out of the way. He just runs me right off the hill there. I thought that was a little bit rude, but I was okay. And I think there was only one other guy behind me, so I didn't hold up the show too much. Now, as I said, they were watering this track while we were racing. In that spot, they kept watering, even though there was a mud hole at the bottom. And I went through it on the first lap with no real issues, but it was getting pretty thick. And that turn right there, not while I went through it on that corner, but there was like a quarter of a glass bottle. The whole bottom of it was broken off in that sand. And on one of the laps, I was just totally fixated on it, hoping no one hit it and threw it into my face. And I fell over the berm, just trying to stay away from it. Flat track areas here, you know, that was a completely different feeling than what we're used to. You know, coming more from road racing, I thought that I would feel a little more confident in it, but it definitely feels strange being on a bike that sits as high as a dirt bike does, and trying to slide it around the corners like that on a completely flat surface. It feels very, very strange, but it was fun. It was a new experience that I've not had the opportunity to have before, so it was pretty cool to at least experience it. There again, you know, like I said, I laid up on that jump every time, and had I just given it the gas, I'd have cleared it no problem. First lap officially done. It was about 4 years and 27 minutes, but it's over. Now you might hear my recluse was slipping pretty bad in this race. I checked the free gain in my clutch lever right before the race. If you have a recluse, you know, you pull it in just enough to where you feel tension on it, and then you rev it up to 3,000 or 5,000 RPM, and you're supposed to be able to feel the clutch just kind of suck in about 1/8 of an inch on the end. And you know, as long as you feel that play there, you should be fine. Well, I checked it, and I had plenty of free play in the clutch lever, but there was no free gain in the clutch, and so the clutch was slipping a lot during this race, which I thought was what was making the engine run hot, but it does not appear to be the case. Since then, I've put new friction discs in there, and it's set nice again, and it's hooking up hard, but it's still running warm. So that's why I'm guessing it's got to be a carburetor issue, or you know, just too much oil. The crashes. Right here is my nemesis hill. Bam! Oh, took it hard in the shoulder. There was no crash. I just like this the motocross track, so we'll throw a little more highlights of that in there. Let's be honest, the Deadwood forest is kind of boring to watch. And they'll see the little bit of the enduro section. Well, the whole enduro section, but you'll see it. Whiskey throttled this one a little bit. Whoa! Okay, so here's the enduro section. These tires were huge! This was by far the hardest enduro section I've seen all year. And, you know, I struggled a little bit with it, but not too bad. Had I not messed up the last line, I think I would have done this over and over again. Weaving through the tires. And then right here, Jeff Carroll, pony down, he rode straight down that center log. I never even thought about that as a line. Like I said, bad line, bad choice, but that's it. Yeah. Camera snapped off and it was done. Hope you liked the video. Hope we see you at Evergreen Creek this weekend. Have a good one.